Damn.
What? Oh shit, I
1
forgot.
point of inspiration to Gryffindor.
I had
There,
to make sure
Adonis,
the
make sure
tokens
while
were
we're,
appearing.
While we're getting started, go ahead and level yourself up to 10, by the way.
Yippee!
When did we level up?
I posted an announcement in chat earlier.
Yeah,
like,
but I saw
a few days ago.
I wasn't sure.
It was
what
I wasn't sure because I was too lazy to honestly go back and check the book. I'll be real. But you're supposed to level up after the casino heist mission. You're dying.
Anyway.
Squidward getting pummeled to death by a rock. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'll let it transfer between... I think it's a player thing, Eric, so you can keep your inspiration.
Woohoo!
Hey, you'll need it. Anyways. As we go ahead and begin this session, we'll keep the introduction short this time since we have a lot to get into. So, last we left off, your group had a bit of a falling out. An argument between Eric's and company. Unfortunately, no proper agreement that joined both sides could be made, and this building tension that has haunted your party, corrupting you from within, finally reached its point of no return. And Eric stormed off, leaving behind his vestments and some of his other belongings in a rage. While walking off, we come back to Eric's. Before we fully get back to you, to quickly go ahead and put it, I want to make sure I know exactly what you left behind, because I remember we talked about that. I want to just double check your list that we made to see what stuff we left for the party to go through, and who takes it. So, think we agreed that you left, in the end, the Ruidium Short Sword, the Javelin of Lightning, the Leader's Cap. I think those were all the items you left.
Yeah, and Eric's also took off bits of his armor, but didn't leave the whole suit.
Yes, so pieces of the armor are there. So who wants what?
Well, I realistically don't need any of it, so...
The short sword's been taken, so it's just the javelin, the leader's cap, and that's it.
I guess the Jewel Three Bears too goes without saying.
Yeah, Finzara's already got that too, so.
Oh man, he took the plot item with him, guys. Gets the campaign's over.
I don't know, for the fucks of it, I'll hold the hat. I'm the leader now, JK. Well.
If you need a reminder of what the item does, I can give you it.
Sure.
I don't know, Aradonis, how you feeling about a charisma boost hat? You want to be Napoleon?
I might
I
hand
was
it to
already
him
at 20
later, but...
charisma. My Riz can't possibly get any higher.
Oh, it could get higher.
Don't say that.
What was the hat?
Does... Hold on, I need to check something. Okay. If you're at 21 charisma, that doesn't boost you to a 6. Got it. Yeah, the hat can boost your charisma past its cap.
I see.
An Aradonis, it's here.
The hat?
But you have to wear a funny hat. It's
Man, I'm already wearing a funny hat.
Are you?
Fair enough.
What hat are you wearing?
I'll put it in your inventory for now.
Okay.
Just Aradonis's.
Go for it.
And who wants a javelin of lightning? Used.
Lightly used. I did throw it at 6 knives.
We know.
What's the odometer like?
Very not. And many.
I imagine
It's been
I imagine
thrown 3
nobody
times.
else is making any bids for the magic weapons, so I guess I'll just take those.
You can.
Alright. I'll add Javelin of Lightning to Persephone's inventory. And there you go. We can go ahead and begin.
I also lay
Leader's
claim
cap.
to the bits of demonic metal that he fucking strewn about.
You have some demon metal.
I will
Hey,
say the
man.
leader's cap is definitely soggy on the inside.
You keep some water in there just to make.
He is soggy.
Is there like a small fish in there in its own like mini aquarium?
It's like one of those like, I don't know. I could see like a celebrity wearing a hat that's just a big aquarium. It's like a top hat with a fish inside.
Ooh.
It's Eric's Met Gala outfit.
Anyways, we can go ahead and begin now. Now that the items are divvied up. The important parts are out of the way. Getting right back to it, we'll start with Eric's. Eric's, as you storm away from the party, you head to the gates of the city, making a few stops on your way, if I remember correctly, yes?
That's right.
Where would you like to go?
I think I had a path drawn on here a while ago. I don't know what happened to it.
I see it inside of your private player chat, so...
Let me go back. Why don't you remind me instead of having to dig for it?
Well, I need to... Okay,
If I had written it down, I didn't tell myself.
I don't think you marked exactly the points you wanted to stop at on here, but it looks like maybe the Blessings Well? Wait. Definitely the Blessing Well, and then you just make a big circle and head out of the city gates.
Oh yeah, it's all coming back now, definitely. Okay, let's go back to the Blessing Well.
Alright. Out of curiosity, as you're approaching this Blessings Well, what are you looking for exactly? Just a moment.
I'm not really looking for anyone or anything specifically, but the last time that I was at the Blessing Well, I saw people would occasionally throw coins down the well and make a wish for good luck.
In that case, it's in a moment you arrive at the well. You see that around this point, it's mostly vacated, as are the streets, seeing as the red moon burns brightly overhead on this night. You have a moment to yourself, absolutely uninterrupted by anyone or anything. What's going through your mind, and what do you do?
Well, the first thing is I'm going to take out my box of 3,795 gold of untaxed loot and set it on the ground next to the edge of the well and just stare down into that, like, dark abyss down into the earth. And Eric's is going to just take a moment to himself to reflect on what just happened. I wish they all find their way. And then I'm just going to shove the box with my foot and kick it over the side.
The strewn assortment of gemstones and various accessories which have occupied your backpack, being a great burden upon you for this time now, are now simply lost to the waters, perhaps an offering to the gods above. You watch the water ripple as they all drop in, creating a waving motion.
Just as it splashes into the bottom of the well, Eric's gonna have a moment like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. And then look around, realize that no one was there to see what just happened. Oh well. I'm sure more gems will appear in my lap if I need them.
You hope.
And then I'll turn to leave.
You turn to leave. As you do, as your blessing is dispensed, one last time, upon your departure, you feel a gust of wind. Familiar comfort. Simply the fact that even though you might be alone right now, you still have someone or something watching over you. As you're walking to the gates, let's go ahead and narrate your thoughts for now, but I gotta quickly run upstairs. Food break, you can mark it off.
Oh, sick.
Food break.
Dividends already.
Can't believe it's already like
Hold
10
on.
minutes into session and we're checking that one off.
Oh, I see. We already have the new player name. Valen. Interesting.
So Eric's thoughts for the narration side of things, well, we're all filling out our bingos and getting food, Eric's is thinking about the long journey he still has ahead of himself. He's written off this whole chasing the jewel in Elixion and trying to refocus on his Aramente. That's what really matters to him. And to that end, he supposes that hopefully Eridanis makes it through this whole ordeal and comes out unscathed on the other side. And then perhaps they'd see each other again sometime, and Eric's can reclaim that emerald gem that he gave Eridanis. But until that time, the Warlock could make better use of it.
I like to imagine someone's eventually going to draw water out of that well and they're going to be hit with like 300 gold coins.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. It's like someone's gonna, like some poor, destitute person's gonna come along and be like, just a little water from the well, please. And they'll pull up a bucket and it'll just be like, you know, a bucket full of like jade statues and emeralds and sapphires.
God smiles upon me this day.
I am contemplating some bullshit.
What bullshit are you contemplating?
Multi-class.
How quaint.
What'd you say about a monkey's ass?
Multi-class.
What?
Multi-class. Oh my god, that makes so much more sense.
Monkey's
Wowza.
ass.
Oh boy.
Now if my party decides to metagame, they can get 3,795 gold.
No, by the time fucking daylight comes, everyone's gonna come to get water. Fucking shit's gonna be gone.
The homeless population, just their hearts grew 3 sizes that day, so did their wallets, but either way. Eric's, back to it.
Back to it.
As you approach the gates of the city, reaching them on your own time, the moon continuing to abide overhead, you find yourself this night, albeit by now you know it should be dark and you likely should be finding some place to get ready to rest. You can't help but admire the atmosphere of this desert. From within the city, everything seemed so lush and vibrant. Although you knew there were evils residing within, bad and terrible things that tested at you, picking away at everything. The outside doesn't feel much better. An unwelcoming wasteland, perhaps, but Also, maybe a canvas for new opportunities that you've yet to discover. Not necessarily having a guiding path or direction in mind, you begin to walk out the gates. I need to remember if we decided you'd be playing with your cards when you got out to the gates or not. I think so.
I have a direction in mind, and
Okay.
I think we did say that Eric still had that one card.
Okay, yes.
That
So
was
I guess
a
first
little
and foremost,
retcon.
if you want, we can, go ahead and tell me the direction now. Why not?
I gotta go back to the world map because the player does not know the direction.
Mm-hmm. Bum, bum, bum.
I think there was a volcano to the south
There certainly was.
in the Call Mountains. So I think to that end, Eric's is probably going to try to make his way towards that volcano, but before he gets there, he'll have to find transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So probably to the outskirts of the city to find a stables or some way of getting around.
Maybe a tree. Either way. You get to the gates of the city and kind of lean up against a wall while you try to think about what your next move is going to be. Plotting out the destination in your mind, you pull out your deck of oh-so-helpful cards. They've guided you right in the past. What might change now? You decide to shuffle them up, pull one out, just to see what might happen. As you do, you wait for a minute. The visage on the card appears to be that of a king, but with red horns and black scaled skin and a long beard. It looks almost filled with thorny twigs and leaves.
Looks like a distant cousin of mine.
You As you say that, the sands begin to shift. At first you think it's a sandstorm, perhaps. You've seen them blow over the city, though the city itself is protected by great mountains on both flanks. However, when the ground begins to shake, you realize it's not likely so, as a giant hole begins to form in the middle. You aren't sure what kind of occurrence this could be, perhaps natural, perhaps unnatural, but almost a whirlpool begins to form. You back up from it, standing as far as you can, before you watch it almost belch, sending out a torrent of sand in every direction as a great fiendish claw pulls from the top of the sands, fighting, but holding firm, and digging itself out of this pit, looking straight at you with great gnarled teeth, a massive hunched form, and large bony protrusions from multiple ends of its body. It roars viciously, spitting God knows what in every direction. And fortunately for you, it wants you dead. And you don't see a guard in sight. How do you immediately react?
My first instinct when I see this creature in full is, that looks like a demon. Have I seen its like before?
You think on this for a moment before the beast begins to bear upon you. Right as you're preparing for the brunt of this hit, aiming to take the great blow from this colossal titan, an arrow comes flying out from the distance, followed shortly by a blast of magic that sends the beast tumbling slightly. You look off to the left of you and you see familiar faces. A party whom you have met before. Ao Job and the rest of her compatriots stand atop the shifting desert sands. You begin to watch her shout orders. Your ears are ringing slightly from the demon itself slamming into a nearby wall, but do you draw arms and join the fight? Do they begin to engage the demon?
I guess I would have to. I have still my flame tongue scimitar, so I'll draw it and ignite it and charge in there.
You charge in, and despite the flames themselves not giving you great benefit in this fight, you fight ferociously. The rivals managing to masterfully sway in teamwork and tactics. You see Maggie grappling at the beast, holding it steady, while Ao readies her ungodly spear, lining it with the creature and piercing it through. Dermot enhancing the weapon magically before sending a ray of radiance down upon it, blinding it temporarily as its pupils dilate and glow milky white, and Galceriad shifts its feet with gravitational vortex. You yourself holding it off and slashing away at whatever weak bits of exposed flesh you can happen to see. Carving bone and skin. Eventually, although injury sustained, the beast, it roars one last time, but it grows quieter as it begins to fall, charging away in an attempted retreat, but bleeding out midway through and slumping collapsed onto the ground, where you watch the creature itself begin to turn into little grains of sand that get blown away into the wind. Dermot's immediately going to walk up to you. Hey, you doing alright?
It's lucky you four arrived when you did.
Of course, but you look hurt. Do you mind? Kind of holds out his hand.
I'd be very appreciative.
Hey, let me check you up. Demonic scars should be curable. Hopefully nothing lingers, depending on the type of monster. So he begins to check you over. Ao will...
Suppose it wouldn't be my first scar from a demon, right?
Let's hope it's your last. And you'll see Galceriad investigating the last sighting of the monster corpse, peeking through bits of sand and trying to cast various spells to identify if any lingering presence is still up. Maggie herself is going to sit down nearby and have a brief conversation with Ao before they'll both kind of stand up and walk over to you. At this point, you're bandaged and your wounds are magically sealed. Ao looks to you and says, Hey, what's going on? Are you alright? What happened? Some sort of sand demon.
I was just planning out my next move and fooling around with this deck of cards.
Next move?
And I'll show him the king with the horns. I think it was an effect tied to this.
We'll let Galceriad look at that, but what's more important to me, why are you out this late on a night like this alone? What do you mean next moves? You heading out into the deserts as well?
It feels wrong to say it, but I'm no longer chasing Elixion.
She kind of looks a little shockingly to you, confused. What do you mean?
My life's taken a change in a very brief span of time. I need to pursue my Aramente if I'm ever to return home to the Shattered Teeth and see my family again and face them as a man.
Kind of says, Otto. Looks to Maggie for a second, confused. Maggie gives a bit of a shrug. What? Otto, what now? What? Hold on. So you're just... What about the others? What about their journeys?
Well, I gave them a blessing. That's the best I could do, given the circumstances. Fenzira has the Jewel of Three Prayers. Hopefully everything will work out.
Damn. Why so suddenly, though? Why didn't you go on this Aramente of yours sooner? Why now?
It's why I was in Chicago in the first place.
Erix, I don't ask this lightly, and I don't mean to offend. You're a good friend. But this journey, this fate, you can't just ignore it. It needs someone like you.
Not like me. It needs someone like you, Ao. Time and time again, I've made mistakes, led my team into danger, caused them untold amounts of grief, both by my inaction and action. I'm a terrible leader. I hope through some soul-searching introspection, and perhaps a duty fulfilled, I'll learn a thing or two. See what this world is really about.
Maggie kind of speaks up and says, You have a heart of gold, Erix. And Ao's gonna say, I just kind of sit down next to you. I don't know what to say. I'm glad you're doing something for yourself, if you think this is right. But as much as I'm starting to let your group grow on me a little bit, I'm worried. Not just about you being alone, but all of them. Alone, each of you are unpredictable.
Erratic.
I don't know, it seemed like together, albeit there was tension, there was still some sort of balance. I just hope, however you left them, I don't know. I hope they learned something from it.
We all know that a bowstring under tension can only fire an arrow one direction. I intend to keep moving forward. I didn't want to get any more mired in that mess of a party than I did.
It disappoints me to hear it, but I understand.
If you're still pursuing Elixion on your own,
Of course.
I would recommend caution. There's been a lot that we've learned in the past few days. I'm sure the others could fill you in on most of the details.
I'm sure. Elixion's dangerous. Something needs to be done.
The most important thing, I guess, is Elixion had a divine spirit guide of some sort. An angel called Perigee.
Dermot will kind of perk up a bit. And what do you know about her?
Only that I saw her in a vision. One of Elixion's last battles.
Where did you receive this vision?
I believe it was the Many Cats Tavern.
Huh.
I was simply asleep at night. But if it is destiny and divine portents you're searching for, I've had good luck at the crossings of Eventide.
Yeah, kind of looks down to Dermot and nods. We were thinking about that place. We've heard that in times of great strife, the Matron of Ravens will give visions. Or at least Dermot's figured. About this time, Gosseriad starts to walk back. No sign of it lingering on. It was definitely magical, but I'm not sure what could have caused it. Kind of motions to you, Ao does. Ah, I see. You look down, Erix, at your cards for a minute. As you do, you begin to kind of now having noticed them, see that the faces on them are all faded, now starting to become white and empty.
I'll just tuck them away in my belt as a souvenir for later.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing.
Mhm.
Be careful of the Vermilion Consortium.
Why specifically?
They may not be the criminals that I initially believed them to be, but they have big plans for the city. And big plans for everyone in it seems.
Don't worry. We've been keeping our eyes on them. The Allegiance has made it clear enough that there's something dangerous about them. We just have to find out what. But we grow closer every day. Hopefully. No. It'll be alright. She kind of stands up and pats you on the shoulder. Erix, I wish that you didn't have to do this alone. I wish that I could help you. I wish that any of us could. But
I'll hold out a hand to shake.
she'll shake your hand.
And I'll pull her in close and then wrap my other arm around her in a big hug.
She accepts and meets the embrace, matching it.
Or I guess a little hug. Eric isn't that tall.
But I know you can do this.
You can help me. Just keep yourself safe. That's the only thing I really need.
Of course.
Keep an eye on Eridanos for me if you can.
I haven't forgot what I promised you. I'll try my best.
That, and he has a gem which holds a significant value to me.
Oh?
If he doesn't make it out of wherever it is they're going, it's gonna make my life a lot more difficult in the future.
Should I try and get it from him?
As long as he's sticking to the path, let him keep it.
Alright. Alright. I'll do that. We need to head into the city. We've got stuff to take care of, and we'll probably be going to check on the others in the morning, once the moon is out.
Eric'll nod. My road leads into the desert.
We were just out there. Kind of snaps for a minute. Maggie says, if you don't have an airship to take, I recommend being very careful. It's not safe out there. There's all sorts of monsters, and there's a good reason they take airships everywhere. My recommendation is that you find some sort of nearby settlement that offers transportation or guides. Going through unprepared and blind might prove very dangerous. Also, bring a lot of food and water.
I have a stockpile of food, and water shouldn't be a problem for a little while.
There are very few oases out there. But just, I guess the best piece of advice I can give you. Remember, as long as you do the right preparation, a cactus can still be edible.
That's good advice.
Some
I'll
even
take
have
it to
fruit.
heart.
She'll kind of walk over to you, and after your hug with Ao finishes, she'll just grab you and lift you up into a big bear hug, kind of squeezing a bit of the air out of your lungs. Putting you down gently. I'm gonna miss you. I hope we get to meet again. I have a few poems in the works, and I was hoping to get to share them with you at some point. You were an excellent friend.
I'll be glad to read them in the future.
Please stay safe.
You too, Maggie. And take care of Dermot, too.
I'll try. Dermot will walk up to you himself after that and kind of say, it's a shame. I don't think the others are going to get nearly as many religious visions as you did. But it looks like with you gone, I'm going to have to step up a bit for them. On that department, at least. Gotta make sure they have the right guidance. Lead by example and all that.
Dermot, no one sets a better example than you.
Okay. I really appreciate it, but don't sell yourself short.
I've tried to teach them something, but teaching can only get you so far.
We can only hope they learn. And lastly, Galceriad will walk up. Give you a bit of a handshake if you accept it.
I'll accept it.
You have certainly been a character throughout this adventure.
You don't have to sugarcoat it, Galceriad. I know that you've done great things for our party and haven't expected anything in return. But believe me, when I say that you're a real treasure, and you mean more to me than you realize. And I'll give him a firm clasp on the shoulder.
He smiles.
This Elixion, this Jewel of Three Prayers, this whole adventure. It's like it was made for you. Ancient mysteries, the gods, factions, magic. It's right up your alley.
You're right. Back in my city, back in Rosona, I never thought things like this existed. Not for people like me.
I have something that might help you. And I'm going to take off my backpack full of dangerous red rocks
Oh no.
and give Galceria the ruidium backpack.
They'll kind of take it and examine it. This is ruidium.
If my theory's correct, you're going to need to research this stuff.
The
It
allegiance.
seems connected to Elixion in more ways than just the allegiance or any organization.
Certainly.
It's almost like it's a divine metal of sorts.
We've been trying to get our hands on it for a very long time now. At least this much of it. Hopefully we can do some good things with this. I'm glad to have met you and to keep working with your group. Do well, and don't get into trouble.
I plan to steer very far away from it. Well, as far as you can in an ancient calamity ruin.
I'll kind of take the bag and start to walk to the side. As they all will line up kind of in a row, facing towards you. Ao's gonna step out and say, well, I guess this is where we say, see you later.
In the next adventure.
Something like it. She'll walk over to you and say, you might not think it, but you contributed a lot. Not just to us or your other group, but to this investigation with Elixion as a whole. Your name and your deeds will not go unforgotten. Unforgotten? Forgotten. And I want you to have something to remember this all. Once we're famous, we'll make sure they tell some sort of story about you. She'll kind of pull out her Elixian whale killing spear or whatever you gave her. She'll hand it over to you. I haven't been able to use this thing in a long time, and if I'm being honest with you, I don't think it has any significant connection to Elixian. At least not now. But you rightfully earned it. Deserves to be with you.
I'll take the spear and say, maybe in that distant future I can feature in one of Maggie's poems.
Yes, certainly. Without question. I'll write some great stories for you. And with that, they're all going to kind of...
As they're all turning to leave, I'm going to cast Find Steed.
Mhm.
And I'm going to, over, I guess, how long does it take to cast this thing? Is it 10 minutes, or is that just the ritual time?
We'll just say you cast it.
Eric's going to summon Find Steed in the shape of a moorbounder.
You see a magical moorbounder summoned from the sands. Its head seeming to have long braided hair, and it being well built and muscular, similar to the moorbounder you had back in Jagao for a short time.
And he'll climb atop it and ride off into the sunset.
He does. Not looking back. You head off into the deep sands, the rivals departing to places unknown, as well as you, continuing your armamente and following whatever adventure Eric's has lying ahead of him for the distant future. And with that, for now at least, Eric's is gone. And we can get back to the main crew.
Alright, it's been real, everyone. See ya.
Alright.
Bye-bye.
Yep, he's never coming back.
Yeah, new players. Who we getting, Move?
No, no one. 3-person party for the rest of the campaign.
Oh god.
See you in the second time that's been posted. Stars are beautiful tonight.
Boo.
Oh my god, +1. Heading back to the main crew. The three of you are left bewildered in the streets for a bit. You eventually manage to collect your bearings and silently head back off towards the Mini Cat's Tavern. The tavern keeper doesn't share much talk with your group as you enter in, having witnessed the entire scene alongside her feline companions. You all simply are given keys and head up to your rooms. As you do, you sit in the hallway for a moment. Would any of you want to share any words with one another, or simply head to bed for the night and tackle it in the morning?
Yeah, I think Adonis is just going to go to bed. It's been a very rough day.
Morning.
It's day. It's night now.
No, morning as in we'll talk about it in the morning.
What happened to... Okay, whatever.
Hey, we share a room.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, with Adonis going to bed. Head into my room as well.
Well,
Alright.
I'll follow, I suppose.
You each head to your respective chambers for the night.
My
How you feeling?
Not great. Still.
I know I gotta say it in the morning, but I'll talk about it.
I just had a feeling that today was going to be bad, and I didn't know what shoe was going to drop, and I suppose that I figured out which one it was.
Yeah, I know the moon in the sky is red and all that, but this was a long time coming. X wasn't a bad guy, but when the person you're traveling with, you have to walk on glass around, it's not bound to last. I've done that dance before, and I'm glad that I don't have to do it again.
It's hard to not find some merit in a superstition when you're constantly met with evidence and proof of it. So,
It's only proof if you think of this as a bad thing.
well, it certainly doesn't feel good that my decision made him leave. I get that it might benefit us in some way, but right now it does not.
And you had him. He threatened you.
Yeah.
You're not responsible for that. Those are his demons.
I just tried really hard. And I promised him that I was gonna help him and go with him, and now that's not going to happen, and I don't feel great about it. But I understand what you're saying. It wasn't right for him to threaten me at all, so. That was unsettling, to say the least. Just.
Persephone's gonna come over and just like grab you by the arms and sit down with you. Just, I'm sure it's not gonna feel good for a minute, but I think this is for the best.
Well, I hope
I mean,
so.
it was only a matter of time before me and him went at it again. So at least we can avoid that. But yeah, I have something for you. I was kind of gonna give it to you earlier, but I admit it's not as fancy as what Eric's got you. But I think what happened today will make up for that. So yeah. Persephone pulls out of a bag of holding a smaller, like silk pouch, like custom made.
This, it looks so cool. Thank you.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I can.
Never really had to get a gift for anyone before, so I wasn't really sure what to shop for. But
Oh, this is good.
Reminded me of you.
I needed to switch out my pouch that I put some components in anyway, so this will be very useful. Bro, give me 30 seconds. I gotta tell this man to stop playing guitar.
Wow.
Drug pouch, drug pouch, drug
Drug
pouch.
pouch, drug pouch, drug pouch. It's laced with crack.
A pouch for your drugs.
How
better.
Dude, do you mean?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell.
Alright, I'm back.
I love back.
Well, yeah, no, a lot happened today, so I don't blame you for holding off on giving this to me. It doing wonders to help me get my mind off of it.
If I'm gonna be honest, I was gonna do it under the stars, but I have a feeling the moon's not really what you want to see right now.
Either way, I mean, it would give a good, positive moment rather than a bad one. But we're already in here, so.
I mean, we don't have to be. Window's right there.
Go over and open the window.
Alright. I'll go first. I'll help you up.
Okay.
Out the window, up the roof, hand down.
You.
Stand on the, what is it called, the windowsill and grab your hand.
Make it to the top of this flat roof tavern, seeing as most of the building texture. Might cutting out a lot.
You're fine.
You look up to the sky, and the stars are the only thing that seem to glow with a trickling white as you see the massive, colossal figure in the sky above, imposing and ever-present.
So,
Hmm.
what do you think?
I think being alone with you on a night like this is one of the better nights I've had under this moon, so.
That's good. I've been meaning to pay you back for bosses on. Wasn't sure I was gonna, but worked out.
The private conversation with the guitar.
It's a lute.
Well, stringed instrument.
It wasn't a good day. You came by and I don't know what it is about you. But you remind me of when things were not good, I guess. Before the Baylor, before Chagao, before everything.
Well, for me, with you, it was just that I had been seeing you emotionally struggle for so long, and I just couldn't sit well with myself letting you walk off and deal with that alone. So.
It's what I've always done. I haven't had anyone really worry about that since my mom. And, that's a long time ago.
Well, you don't have to be alone anymore.
I hope so. I really do.
Well, thank you for helping me not be alone.
Anytime. It's been a while, but I haven't played in a bit. At least not without interruption.
Well, seems like a good time.
Everything I play is usually just something that I fucked about with, but there's a song Mom taught me before she passed. If you want to hear it.
I'd love to.
Alright. Alright, let's see if this shit's ass.
Advantage.
Advantage, my beloved. Read 20.
Nice.
It starts off a bit somber, but as it goes along, it has an uplifting undertone. Before being more of a hopeful tune.
It's beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, back in Bowser's Zone, before everything went to shit, I would just find a quiet spot in town, hop up on somebody's roof, play this. People got fucking tired of me playing in the night, so I had to go find a different spot.
The place I found you at.
Yeah. I didn't get a C, given everything that was happening. Hopefully that Baylor didn't fucking ruin it. Persephone retunes it before putting it away, and just inches a little bit closer and moves their hand to hold yours.
Take your hand.
No matter what happens, I really hope we stay the same.
I agree. Hope that we can survive through anything that the world throws at us. Made it this far, so.
Yeah. Surviving might be a little off the table given how that went, but we bounced back. That's what I hope we can keep doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's I believe what I told you when you were upset about falling onto the ground over and over again. Bouncing back is what is important.
I think after tonight, things are gonna be better than back. It's only up from here. Right?
Yeah, we can work on it.
So he's gonna stand up and help you up if you need it.
I'll accept the help.
I love you. Fun.
I love you too.
So he's gonna pull you into a big hug and thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. You're gonna need to help me get down, though.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I'll just yeah.
Sorry if I interrupted. Do you have more you needed to say?
No, I'm good.
Squeeze, hug, let go.
Let's get off the fucking roof.
The beating red eye.
And he's gone.
No, I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna.
Get a new headset.
No, we can't. Anyways, with the beating red eye of Ruidus watching down upon you, blah 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 blah, fucking, you retreat to the privacy of your sanctum.
The privacy of your sanctum.
Oh, yeah.
Eh. Finding peace this night. You go to rest.
Quite.
Alright.
I don't know, like, Fenzara's asleep, and then I got a fucking bolt.
Benzara's asleep.
Amen.
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 I have a clue where you'll be going, so we're just going to go ahead and assume you make it out the normal way and head out into the streets.
Out we go. I've
Alright.
got a dock worker to beat the shit out of.
We'll get to that.
Yep.
First is Eridanis. You're left to your own in your chambers, stewing in your own thoughts as you hear light footfalls on the roof above you. Are there any thoughts that go through your mind on this night? Any lingering worries or concerns as you lay to rest?
Eridanis is going to... He's going to do something he hasn't done in a very long time. I think ever since the ship travel. He's going to curl up on his bed and just lie there with his knees pressed to his chest, thinking to himself. He's definitely very, very, very profoundly sad in a way that he never really thought he could be. Or perhaps he was at some point but then forgot. And at this point, he's starting to wonder maybe if remembering certain things might be a good thing after, not being able to remember certain things is a good thing after all. He's very sad that Eric's has left. And especially, I guess, with how the others seem to be taking it as well. It's not a good time for him. And now he has all of these, I guess, conflicting feelings about what to do next. Part of him would have even wanted to perhaps leave with Eric's, but at that point, that ship's already sailed. He has no idea where he's gone. And so, yeah. Things are not fun.
Mm-hmm.
And now, more so than ever, he's starting to wonder if all of this might have been his fault to some extent. With driving, trying to get behind Eric's back, and also helping to push him towards this decision. And now, all of a sudden, he's wondering what kind of a person he might have been before he died. And whether he might have also even chosen to forget some things with how long he'd been gone, and that maybe he deserved all of this, a lot of the other horrible mess that he's experienced since, perhaps some kind of punishment for who he was before. And this profound sadness is definitely feels like a terrible, terrible feeling. So yeah, he has a lot to think about.
You sit on these thoughts and ponder. Though normally when you think you sit on these thoughts and ponder. Normally when you would think this deeply, you would be greeted with a torrent of other thoughts in your mind, but tonight, at the very least, you have some silence to think for yourself. You consider who you might have been, what you might have done, whether or not any of this is deserved or fated destiny. You think, you channel, and you stir. And if there's anything else you don't plan to do, you find sleep. Somehow in the night.
He's gonna try to find some rest.
You do the best you can. And by most accounts, you're successful. Lastly, Vinzyra, in your rest, what do you just keep the vestige around your neck, or like to your side? Where's the jewel?
I suppose it would be around my neck. It would be overlapping atop the arcane focus that I have I've had since the beginning, that my mama gave to me.
Mm-hmm. It rests there next to a childhood trinket, remembering you perhaps a happier time. Dull and dead, silent as the night, tormented by some sort of deep thought, and unresponsive. You eventually find sleep, not thinking much of it. But your dreams are filled with nightmares on this night. You find yourself in a familiar place. Sort of like some of the other visions you've had, but at the same time, much more different. You recall the first time you ever... What the fuck?
What?
Eat my ass! Fucking Keaton.
Ignore him.
You recollect the first memory and vision that you had.
Mhm.
With the Apotheon or Elixion reaching from that pond, being consumed by its depths. And you feel yourself struggling to keep afloat in a pool of similar water before being pulled down into its briny depth. You open your eyes again. You haven't drowned, and oxygen fills your lungs as opposed to water. Though around you, it certainly feels like you're underwater. You see a small house. A cottage, perhaps, on a hill. You aren't sure what profession the family within might have, or if there's a family within at all. The house itself is quiet and still. You see graffiti and writing on the side. Terrible things. Damaged property, insults. Dark reminders. And a small path in front of you, with a light shining above the house that leads towards it.
Well, I will make an approach.
Once again, as you've done many a time with your dreams, you follow that guiding light. You approach the house. You watch the door fall off of its hinges, sinking into the ground below, almost like a wet mud or quicksand consuming it. Bricks begin to fall and the building begins to shift, though unexpectedly the structure still stays intact. But the front wall is completely open, letting you walk right in.
Inward I go, as unsettling as that is.
The rooms feel featureless and empty, as if something should be there, but nothing is. The wall reassembles itself behind you as objects come floating up from the mud and building themselves back into place. You hear the bubbling and slow swishing noises of the water around you as things move. And the only room that seems to have any detail is a simple chamber, one with a crib. You see a small rocking horse, various different children's toys and accessories, and a small, handmade, not perfect, but made with love, crib. You hear some noises from within.
I will, as usual, let my curiosity drive me and go towards the source of the sound.
You approach the crib. Leaning over the side, you peer within. You see a small child. Not many features to be made out from a younger baby. But eventually you hear noises. What sounds like shouting outside. A mob, perhaps. You hear whispers in your mind. What are we? You look up and you begin to see the roof disassembling itself, peeling back as bricks just float motionlessly in the water. You see the red moon overhead. What curse follows us? Shouting grows louder. Listen to that. That tormentuous sound. Do their words carry truth? Are we cursed? Do we this? To be forgotten, cast astray, tormented.
People fear what they don't understand.
But what if they're right? As you kind of start to watch, although strange, given the fact that you're underwater, crackles of flame. It will all be over soon. They did what they thought was right. And maybe they were right. But why must I had been born? Why must either of us had been? If only misery is to follow us. Fire begins to grow thicker, and you see the crib. A waft of smoke blocks your view, making you have to close your eyes for a minute to wipe them with tear. But as it does, you look back in the crib and you see the figure has changed. A version of you is a young baby. You see a shadow standing overhead. An older like of you. One that's definitely familiar. You see it look down tenderly to the crib. Pick up the child one last time. Before looking at you directly. In its face you see that bright, glowing star. It's almost like infinity. It shines within. That part of you. Before you have time to think or ask more, your vision is overwhelmed with shouting and flame as your lungs rush with water, and you'll awaken in the morning.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn indeed. Persephone.
Hello.
On to you. You navigate the streets of the night. Prowling.
Proud.
Damn. You find yourself lurking the streets in hopes of meeting your mark. After stumbling around for a bit and eventually reaching the ridge through a secret path you know of, that creeping sensation takes you awash as you know Orthax is with you and active. You hear the voice, followed by a bit of a ravenous hiss. It's time.
Yeah, let's just get it over with.
You know what must be done.
I haven't forgotten. Trust me.
Our distractions fall to the waste. No longer pushing back against us. We can truly see our goals complete. Follow your heart. I will guide it.
Alright. You better get me there, though. And I'm going to activate the Hat of Disguise. We're going to beat up this man as one Mr. Kynan Lior. Make sure he really gets the message.
Wait, say that again?
I'm disguising myself as Kynan to beat up this man.
Okay. So are you looking for
No. That would be dumb.
that department. Oh boy. You make yourself look like a young man. A face you remember. Cruel and malicious. Evil and hateful. This perhaps wasn't the version you had in mind, but it's what's become of you. Your hat itself takes the shape of a dark cowled hood that goes over your head. Kind of like Anakin Skywalker heading to Order 66 in a sense.
I mean, it's funny because I'm wearing Varen's cloak, so yeah.
You stumble around blindly, but know that you found your way. As eventually you come across a rather dismal apartment. Do you approach?
Yeah.
As you walk up, you see the door itself isn't even locked. The windows are all shut, however, and you see utter disrepair around this estate, or at least in this specific room. So whoever lives here is perhaps a slob.
Slowly creak open the door.
Begin to open it quietly. Make me a stealth check.
Amen.
You creep within, using the night as your shadowy cover. Heading in. Go on.
I want to, just in the back of my mind, be looking for like things that would indicate a child lives here.
You don't see anything like that. Make me an investigation check.
Sure.
Alright, that's good enough. You do find a room on your way creaking through the house that seems to be completely unadorned, undecorated, and empty. Kind of like an old room that's just not acknowledged anymore. Like if a family member died inside of their bedroom and you just never go in there again.
It's something to be dealt with later. Because right now, I've got a man to beat.
You see a familiar sight. Alcoholic drink of all variety lining different shelves in the kitchen. Foods of just whatever can be scavenged or found spread around. Papers and construction plans, routes and trade logs. All kept here, as well as large shipping containers. You make your way and you eventually see a cracked door hanging open and hear a snoring from within.
Alright. I'm gonna take one of the probably empty bottles. Just, I'll get ready to start.
You enter in. That rush of energy coming over you. You know you're being either pushed on or enhanced in some way to achieve your goal. You walk in and you see a not so pretty on the eyes looking man. Your average kind of lower end worker. You see an outfit for work kind of set to the side, a simple, bright colored vest of some type, and various different logs and ledgers, as well as a pen to write, next to a bottle of some sort of Marquesian whiskey.
Not gonna waste any time. Gonna take the bottle and begin by just smashing it over his head before continuing to lay into him.
You kind of just immediately are, as you shatter
He's gonna we're gonna
bottle.
keep him alive, but just barely.
You start to beat away. Anytime you kind of hear any sort of retort, it's more of a shout and less pleading of any kind. Tries to reach for anything to defend himself or attempt, but you don't give him the chance as you beat him straight out of his slumber, wasting absolutely no time. You find it hard to control yourself at a certain point as you try and pull back, and you try and fight it. And you keep going. You'd nearly kill him if it wasn't for an interruption. You hear a door creak behind you, and you immediately gain control of your mind again. The man at this point is, for better or for worse, unconscious. Once more in his sleep.
My head's just gonna, knee-jerk turn, glaring back at the door.
You'll see a hand on the banister, and another one kind of to the side of a cloaked figure, standing tall and proud. You see a small white face behind the cowl hood. He lifts it off. He's just gonna say, "Leave. You have no right to be here." The voice is familiar to you. He might not recognize you, but you recognize him. What form of demon are you?
Yours. I'm going to immediately try and reach for my gun.
The second you move, you reach for your gun, but just immediately feel a hot bullet slam right into your weapon, sending it flying across the room with a loud bang as you hear a commotion from outside. I said leave. Who do you think you are? Masquerading as me?
Motion outside.
Motion outside, you said?
You said there was a commotion outside?
Just people beginning to stir after a loud gunshot, but there's not really any guards around this area, so you doubt anyone's going to do anything about it.
Yeah, no, I know who I am. I'm gonna charge the fucker.
You charge him and
Dagger out the back.
do the best you can. You're quick to get a slice on him, reacting with blinding speed, but this figure himself, he is well-trained and incredibly disciplined. He, though slightly slashed, manages to catch your hand and quickly disarm you, pushing you back to the side and slamming you against a wall, sending a shiver through your spine of pain, as he's going to immediately draw a weapon on you, and you'll see a fire pointed straight at your head. Not a short pistol, but a long musket. Shh. You can make this easy. I wouldn't dispel you now, but I will if you try any more.
Do it. It wouldn't be the first time.
Not going to harm some random no-good thug.
When has that
Even
ever
if it
stopped
would be
you
great.
before?
You say that, and you kind of start to feel yourself, albeit your wounds, that shiver through your spine starts to grow warm and hot, as your blood feels almost like fire, boiling like you remember it. And you begin to kind of look at your own hands as your vision grows dark and gray. You see black, almost tar-like substance begin to creep down your arm, leading to your fingers and almost forming claws, as you see a shadowy firearm appear in your hand. Something not physical, perhaps ethereal. An orange glow christening throughout it, highlighting every detail, as immediately Kynan is going to reach to pull the trigger, but you have the ability to react quicker.
I'll we'll fire the new digs, I guess. I got a disarming shot for a reason.
You take a shot at him. Go ahead and make an attack roll with whatever you want.
Amen.
For all intents and purposes, it's a pistol.
Yeah.
That'll do. That'll do. That'll do.
It'll do. It'll do.
That'll do. I'm just quickly... Alright. You immediately respond with a shot to his weapon, aiming a little higher at attempts to end things quickly, but he's able to move out of the way and his gun blocks the shot. You see now this weapon in better detail. It looks like a musket, but it's long and dark and has its own kind of intricacies to its design. Kind of similar to Orthax in a sense, but maybe in a way different. You don't take much time to examine the features of his as a bullet quickly travels, made completely of smoldering red mass with shadowy trail following behind it, leaving no smoke and firing absolutely silently. You see it pierce the gun. The weapon itself almost knocked out of his hands, but him managing to catch it and hold tight and firm. Backing up slightly, he says, "God damn it, it's you. My demons." As he's going to kind of contemplate those words and start to fall back, running through the house.
No, fuck, he's not.
I mean, you're going to chase him, I assume.
Absolutely.
You chase him as objects are thrown about, and care of this property is absolutely tossed to the side. A driving demonic force creeps through your head, taking away that tactical edge you might carry about yourself and replacing it with a bit of a mindless ferocity, part of which is your own, admittedly, but part of which is driven by another sense of feeling, as you fire off silent shots into the night. The door slams open, kind of rolling across the floor, and you managing to at least land one shot into his arm, which you see him grasp. A trail of blood leads out, but no matter how hard you try, he's fast and very nimble. You turn a corner to try and take a good shot at him, hoping to at least hit his leg to slow him down. But as you do, you see a small blue pellet come flying around the corner and kind of smack you square in the middle of the stomach, taking your breath for a moment before you find yourself trapped inside of a blue orb, unable to move around besides a pathetic rolling. The figure examines you for only a second more. At this point, you're more shadow demon than Persephone. But you've never felt better. Never felt stronger. Never more capable. I'll deal with you later. And the door slams wide open as he runs outside of it, and you see figures standing outside of the door. Neighbors, perhaps. All sorts of folk. The orb itself is quickly shattered, and you feel you have the ability to simply meld with the nearby shadows, if you would so choose. A quick escape option.
Yeah. As he's getting away, Persephone just pounding on the sphere, screaming, only dulled by assumedly a ball of force before he's properly away, which it's frustrating that is as that is. They will meld with the shadow and slink away to retrieve their stuff before regrouping elsewhere.
You know when to call it quits at least. As you begin to leave, you don't even take the time to consider the figure in the room. Despite all of this, you grab your weapon.
Wait, that was a different figure.
No, his dad.
Okay.
You head out through a nearby window, riding along the ground, feeling yourself almost smaller, maybe skulked, as you slide away into the nights of the street, the house filling with figures. You see guards in the distance, from far away, having finally caught up. Kynan? For now, at least, he's gone. As you begin to come out of the shadows and the demonic form starts to recess, not before slamming the wall one last time, leaving cracks in the stonework.
Oh, he's not the only one. I think whatever
It's-
alleyway we dump out of, Persephone's just gonna fucking kick something nearby.
You leave a large crack in the ground, I'll say, as you just slam the floor. Both of you matching in perfect sync with this decision, making it very effective. As
Damn it!
no matter. No matter.
That
We
wasn't a
did what
kid
we
at
had
all.
to.
Did you know he was gonna be there?
I knew that was his father.
And you didn't tell me? We could have had him.
The boy ran back to his nest. I did not suspect this outcome. But don't fret. He's not gone. We have him. You kind of see a memory enter your mind. A bullet striking him. Perhaps just a graze, but you feel a sense of emotion, of thought. It was enough. No matter where he flies, no matter how far he runs, he can't hide. And he cannot return in shame to the walls of his nest of safety. There are no bastions that will take him. Only darkness.
Good. Good. From now on, the whole truth. We will not repeat this again. I've done everything you've asked.
It matters not. Secrets won't be kept. There's only one thing we have to do, and that is clear.
Kill Kynan.
Yes. Kind of echoes through your mind. Yes. As it begins to slink back, fade away, leaving you to yourself once more.
Gonna look around. Make sure area's clear with all that. Before lowering down the cloak's hood and taking off the hat, the spelling, the shit on it. And heading back to the tavern, disappointed, but not angry, but ready to finish it. Focusing on that feeling of Kynan. You're not getting away again.
No matter
Yeah. how far away he creeps. You now have a sense of at least knowing where he is. You also now have the ability to summon a shadow weapon that makes no noise 3 times a day. Yippee!
3 shots, of course. But it doesn't consume ammo, at least.
Indubitably.
It can be any type of gun.
Gotcha.
You find rest, and thankfully, due to your drow lineage, don't require a lot of it. But you will be sleeping a little longer than other people might be waking up. As eventually, God forbid, the morning finds you all.
Yay!
The red moon beginning to recess ever so slightly. All of you may take a long rest.
Indeed.
Eric's took
Alright.
a long rest. His adventures never end.
Well, now I have to say happy late birthday to my brother because I'm a dumb fuck.
You forgot.
A lot happened. Giving myself a pass. God.
Buddy made a twin brother, put them birthday in the middle of the campaign, and didn't even remember.
Now, Fen remembered. I feel like they were just avoiding it because they're worried about what what could happen. But anyway.
Anyway, indeed.
Yep.
In a matter of waking up in the morning, all of you wake up just a little bit later. And I'd say, Finzara, you're perhaps the first to wake up. Your nightmares having haunt you.
Yeah.
With Eridanis following suit shortly after and Persephone staying out a little longer.
Waking up, there'll be like a very depressed expression, maybe a little bit of tears in the waterline, but nothing enough to go down my face. Yesterday, when I woke up Persephone, she got kind of annoyed, so I'm not going to do that again.
Reasonable.
Yeah? I think I'm going to spend at least a little bit of time actually attuning to said object if it is able to be attuned to, or if it's still fucked up.
The jewel is out for the foreseeable future. I'll
Okay.
tell you when it glows again, but it's out for a bit.
Alrighty then. At the very least, I'll do what I said I was going to do and keep looking at it, and I guess inspecting it with the goggles, even if it bears no fruit.
You examine it, but get nothing new.
Well, fuck. Just gonna walk out the room into the hallway.
Mm-hmm. Eridanos' door opens around this point as you take some time to walk out. You both run into each other.
Morning.
Eridanos' hair is still a mess. He's going to push it aside as he rubs the sleep out of his one uncovered eye. I suppose it is that time of day, isn't it?
Yeah?
Morning.
How'd you sleep?
Poorly.
Something tells me we all did. But,
Eridanos is he's gonna walk on. He's not gonna remain in conversation much.
well, as I'm following you through the hallway and into the greater expanse of the inn, let's say, I'm gonna say, I had a weird vision-y dream last night, at least, but nothing new on the jewel itself, unfortunately. I think I got to see his house. Perhaps.
One eyebrow cocks up at that. Interesting. Anything more?
Well, apparently him and I share a similar birthday, so there's that.
I suppose it should be expected. He would have been born during a red moon. Given his fates, I suppose the least we can do is hope that you avoid anything of the sort. Anything of the same.
Yeah, well, I suppose in a way I can only prolong the inevitable, but that's a rather pessimistic way of thinking about it. I'll enjoy every day that I get. As much as I can.
There will be time for that. But for now, where is Persephone?
Sleeping.
We still, as I see it, we still have a mission to get done. And now that we're short one member of our team, the rest of us need to work all the harder if we aim to get down to the source of all this mess. It's already claimed one team member.
I don't recommend waking her up right now, but if you're very adamant on it, it's on you to do that. Last time I did so, it was not met with pleasantries, so...
It's around 9. It's still early-ish in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose we can afford her a little bit of rest. Anyways, we are still now owed that favor by the Iron Hand.
Yeah, and we've been rested. Our clothes are still kind of shitty looking, but nothing we can't remedy before we get there, I suppose.
I guess for now then, we'll probably wait for Persephone to wake up and then head on out to the Bastion, I think, since that's where we are. I think that's where we agreed to meet up. after
Mhm.
this whole deal. Just trying to make sure.
I'm gonna imagine that while we walk there, though, later, that we pick up a spare pair of clothes that aren't all ripped and adventure worn.
Well, you know who's nearby?
Uh-huh.
You know who's nearby?
Look, we don't have that much money.
Don't they sell clothes, like normal
Do they?
clothes?
Gilmore's
Gilmore's-
Glorious Goods?
Yeah.
Sure.
Alright.
Sure.
They had a clothing shop, but they definitely have a large selection of outfits.
Sure. Well, that's
we can
what
stop
River's
by
for.
the Enchanted Flask and Gilmore's then. It's funny. I'd have hoped he at least could have bothered to stay for the meeting that he had pushed so hard for. But anyways, we should go on. I'm just trying to remember now, out of character. At this point, I don't think any of us necessarily needs a meeting with Jimonso Ord. What we mostly want is access to the dig sites. Am I correct?
They're gonna help me with my problem as
Your
well,
assassin
hopefully.
problem. Okay, good.
We'll talk about it when I'm allowed to wake up.
All right.
Alright.
Well, in that case, Eridanos is gonna. I guess he's gonna wait unless he can just very quickly pop over to the Gilmores and just very quickly buy something better than his current purple rags. And I do say rags at this point. This man has been through so much while wearing those.
You get the best you can and you're accommodated well.
Same fam, I need new digs.
All you do is you do as you're able.
Yippee!
And you get some nice attire. Unless you want anything magical, we can just assume you get whatever clothes you want for the normal market price.
Hell
I'll
yeah.
drop like 20 gold pieces.
Damn. Yeah, you get a nice outfit in that case. Let's actually check. That might be the price of one of the magical outfits. Shops and districts, Gilmore's Glorious Goods.
Oh god.
Alright. Inventory. Do-do-do-do-do. You can get Clothes of Mending for 30 gold. Glamour Weave for 70. Which is just clothes that you can make look like whatever you want.
Wait, hold on. What are the clothes of mending? Run that by me again, Chief.
It's an outfit. You can get it custom made to look like what you want, and if it's ever damaged or torn, it can repair itself.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna buy those. I'll drop the extra 10 for that. And
Alright.
I'll just have it be made. I'll make an exact copy of my current of my current clothes. I'll make an exact copy of my current clothes, but I'll try to. But as I think on it, I guess Eridanos will at this point feel some kind of, I guess, with a stirring of some memories, he will perhaps make a few smaller additions. Did the Cassiopeans ever have a symbol? It's just the constellation, I presume.
Likely.
Okay, well, in that case, in addition to having the cloak and the scholarly robes remade, he'll also have them have a small version of the constellation stitched over his heart, like where his heart would be.
Wonderful. Impeccable design. Let me drag the clothes in your inventory.
Yes.
Clothes of Mending.
You see that gift? That
Llama.
gift doesn't apply because that's always been Eridanos has always had the goofy ass clown fit on.
The Saul Goodman clothes.
Mm.
Pulls out his fucking orange suit.
I
SpongeBob tie.
feel like for the sake of it being quicker and faster for later, I'm just gonna assume that I get the funds from Party Fund and snag up the Glamour Weave or whatever. Because I don't currently have the money on me, but we have it in the Party Fund, so at least covering the 20 gold that I don't have. 30 gold.
To take the Glamour Weave.
Yes, sir.
There you go. What do you want the Glamour Weave to look like?
Well, I've been drawing it. Nice red top with the little waist corset, leathery pants, red boots.
With all the
bits and
subtlety
bobs.
of a brick to the face.
Yep. A brick to the face. We're embracing it.
Very subtle.
It's very subtle.
I like it a lot. Alright. Thankfully, no one questions your interesting choice of attire, as attire can vary greatly in a city such as this. Anything else the two of you want to do in the morning before Persephone rouses?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me.
Eridanus will, I guess, speak to Fensira as she's trying on her, the cloak, or I suppose the glamour weave.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose now that Herrix is gone, we must speak to certain matters. Once we do get to the Bastion, and we do take care of this assassin that's caused us so much grief, well, as far as I see it, we still do need to eventually get to that dig site, but I would also have a request, perhaps, if you could entertain it for just a bit. Pomri spoke of those ruins, areas where there are some fragments of the Cassiopeans left. I'm beginning to remember certain things, well, I say lives, I suppose I just mean the one. And I still feel this pull. Not everything has been revealed just yet, and as helpful as Palmer was, I feel that I still need to search for some things myself, whilst she does her own. She has her own things going on, of course. There is one of the sites is nearby here. It's really just down along the river. I suppose what I'm asking is, would you and Persephone perhaps be willing to accompany me on such a journey? I know it is out of the way, but I feel it's something that I must do, because I feel that once we do find our way into the dig sites, I'll be perhaps pessimistic myself, but something tells me I won't exactly be coming out of there, or at the very least, not without something terrible having happened. I want to be able to go down there with my own history, my own past life known. So at the very least, if the darkness there swallows me, well, I'll know who I was, who I am. So, what do you say? Would you be willing to come along with me on this endeavor?
I've never had any objections to helping you before, and you've certainly helped me with a lot of things. You're willing to fall unconscious on the street and talk to my assailant, so would be kind of in bad taste of me to decline, but I would have helped you regardless, so. I can't speak for what Persephone will want to do, but I'm sure she wouldn't want me to go by myself with you, I guess. Something I'd like you to remember, though, is that, the you that you are now is obviously going to be very different from who you were before. And whoever you end up being, you should be content with that and try to not become who you were and try and embrace who you are, if I'm making any sense.
I understand. I understand that much. But I feel as though certain things that were forgotten should be remembered. Last night I didn't think I could feel that sort of profound sadness. Part of me thought that perhaps forgetting it would be a blessing. But then that makes me wonder, what sort of things did the man who I was before experience? And perhaps I might have chosen to forget some things. And that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, forgetting things doesn't really let you heal from them, it just hides them under the surface. I think it'll be good to find these lost memories of yours.
I'm glad you agree. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Persephone. Not Persephone. Exandria.
Can't look away from the
two of you already beginning to seem like the same person. You spent too much time together now. Anyways. What time is it now? Persephone should have awakened by now, I suppose. We really should get them out of bed. Let's go.
Alrighty.
Alright. The two of you head back to the Mini Cat's Tavern and step in. Eventually, you see Persephone walk down the stairs and greet the morning with a natural wake-up.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, what do you fucking want from me? You
You're
trip down
awake.
the stairs on your way in, you stumble. Ooh, you see kind of
I don't
staring
want
out the
anything.
window.
I don't want
Manages
anything
up.
from you. I don't want anything from you. You're fine.
Ah! Ah!
God damn. Fuck. Morning.
Are we there? Are we there?
I don't know.
Guess
Are
we're
you?
there. I guess we're there. Persephone just walks out to an empty hallway and says, "Good morning."
I think we're probably just walking up as you're saying that.
Yeah.
Just feel like,
Listen, I'll fully admit I was looking for memes to make while Nerd was describing me waking up because I didn't think it'd be that detailed.
well, glad to see we don't have to try and risk an unpleasant awakening.
I'm not a demon. You're fine. You can wake me up.
You grabbed my wrist yesterday morning.
All right. Were you hurt?
No, I guess not, but you didn't seem
And there
happy.
you go.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry. That was. Look, it's fine to wake me up.
all right. I will take the 50-50 then next time, but it didn't seem like a bad thing to let you sleep in a little bit after yesterday. But,
Yeah, I sure enjoyed it. Well, I don't know what you two have been talking about, but I have something to talk about, which is disappointing.
oh,
You remember what I told you about the guy that, killed me?
Yes.
uh-huh.
He was in town last night.
Yes.
That's the short of it. Couldn't get him. So, he's God knows where now.
Did you leave after I went to sleep?
Yeah.
How did you know that he was in town?
Big Bird.
Big Bird.
Oh, since I don't have Eric's here, I was gonna talk my ears off. My, partner, Orthax.
Ah,
Helpful. Could tell me the whole story, but nicked him, nothing more.
all right.
So if you read in the newspaper about some random shooting in a neighborhood, that was him. But what's going on with you two?
The lack of fucking empathy is astounding at this point from this drow.
Hmm.
Nothing. We were just having a conversation about some other matters, but it can wait until later. For now, are you ready to go have a meeting with the Iron Hand?
I mean, at this point I'm not really sure we need to, but might as well, couldn't hurt, I guess.
At the very least, we still need to take care of Vanzyra's problem with a certain maniac running around trying to kill her.
Yeah.
After that, we do still need to see what can be done about getting us into that dig site.
Yeah. I think before we talk with, Iron Hand, Consodium's been talking my ear off for a couple days now to have a meeting with somebody. I don't know if we really care that much at this point, but if we're gonna go in there, we might as well have the deck stacked, right?
Radon's gonna raise one eyebrow. The only eyebrow he can raise, I suppose. What do you mean by that? Who is it that they want us to meet?
I think some of that leadership. Owl. What they go by. Codenames thing is something, but if we're gonna talk to them about a vestige, then if they can tell us anything more about it, probably help. Especially since guy who was getting a ton of midnight calls from Alexia and kinda.
I do wonder whether the midnight visions will cease. That vestige seems to be suppressed, dormant.
Did you get a chance to take a look at it, Finn?
I tried this morning, but no real successes. I don't know if it really counts as the jewel's vision per se, but in my dream, I think I was at his place of residence as a child. We're both Brutus-born, so that's neat. Yeah.
Oh, probably explains the rock then, I guess.
The rock?
Ruidium.
I mean, I guess. It's red. I don't know, though. But no sense in worrying about it. We can go talk to them before we head over there, I guess. It's kind of
Yeah,
on the way. Ish. Bit of a detour, but it's close enough.
I mean, alright. Talk to them, don't talk to them. It's kind of up to us at this point. How do you guys feel about the consortium, actually?
I mean, the warning that we got was that it could negatively impact the people of the city, whatever it is that they're doing with their research and wanting to bring out into the public. I don't know how well tested all of it is. I mean, you see the weapon or whatever, but that guy that was using it, he had all the red, weird, veiny stuff on him. And I think, I mean, we've seen that in the other animals, in like the shark and the gloomstalker. So if they distribute out more weapons like that to people, I feel like more people are going to get those weird veiny stuff, and I feel like it just makes them more aggressive, like less prone to being negotiated with, if that makes any sense.
What makes you think that?
Well, I mean, obviously a shark and a gloomstalker are more prone to violence, but so are mortals in general. I don't know. Just that guy had been working there for a while, right? He was vetted, like the owner said. So then why would he just all of a sudden choose to lose his job over helping someone heist the... It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up in my mind.
I mean, vetted or not, if he didn't set it up himself, that means that the guys from Bazazon did, which they've been here the same amount of time as us. I don't see it, personally.
Well, I suppose when we go over there, then I can ask them how much research they've done into it and if it's actually safe for people to be using. Because if it's not, then it's not good to let the public have it. That's my perspective, at least.
They're giving us a chance to talk with their leader. That's as good a time as any to see if we can't learn more about this. And if we don't like it, petition them for some kind of change. But if things don't go well, we do still have that appointment with the Iron Hand. I'm sure he'd be quite interested to know of certain untoward doings.
Yeah. Really, I just want to make sure that we're all good with going forward. Because at this point, I don't really need the consortium anymore. So we could go any direction we wanted.
Let's take this one step at a time. I suppose let's first go over to the consortium and hear what their leader has to say about this meeting, the owl.
Yeah.
We can see what we all think from there. But for now, the day is shortening. We must go.
Yeah, right. Hey, before we go, Sabini's just gonna walk over and put their hands on both your shoulders. Things are gonna be different, but I think we got this. Got the best intentions, right?
And those are the ones which pave the road to hell, so they say.
I mean, we've already been there, so think of it as the road out.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
So your first destination?
Consortium.
Yep.
Where?
Consortium.
Suppose where they always are, in the basement.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to go see the other leader,
Yeah.
or if you just wanted to go to the
Oh,
First Eclipse Tavern.
I mean, I guess isn't there other leader chilling at the
No.
casino? Oh wait.
where are
No,
they at?
their other leader. You were told to speak with Dendarin about the location when you were ready. Which, I guess it does still mean you need to go to the.
Which means the basement.
Doesn't mean the basement. You are
Okay.
right.
Which means the nerd basement all the same.
But I guess I
Let's
was
go.
just curious if that was your end
Yeah.
goal in the first place. Okay. We're just gonna skip the map for now and go straight to the consortium hideout.
Yippee.
We won't even bother. We don't. We're fine with the Jewel of Hope for now, since we're not gonna linger for too long in these.
Ready?
You depart through the city and make your way through various locale and destination. Since you didn't draw a path, I'm just going to go ahead and make an artistic recreation of what I think you guys would have done to get there.
Wowie. I didn't know we could fly.
Alright.
Excuse me, honey. You can't. I can.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh my god, nerd. What are you doing?
This is Eridon's party leader now. This is the route we're taking.
No.
What?
No,
This
see,
is an equal opportunity party.
if Eridonis is the
Everyone
leader...
knows the charisma character leads the party.
Oh my
Exactly.
god.
What's the highest charisma? I haven't got the leader's hat on. Do you have a leader's cap?
I was gonna say, if Eridonis was a leader, he'd go like this, all the way around the Suncut Bazaar, like once,
Alright,
and then
You
go
forgot
in.
the part where Eridanos loops around the compass a couple times?
The compass.
Oh my god.
The big golden compass they keep outside of Angarel to tell everyone the cardinal directions.
Anyway.
You know that compass?
Okay.
The compass is like the size of this ruling palace.
It's just a big compass they've built into the middle of the desert just for people like you. Anyways, you eventually arrive to the First Eclipse Tavern. Entering in, businesses as usual, with the I can't remember her name. Let me pull up my own map. So I do not forget the NPCs. The Suncut Bazaar. Nah.
No.
Nee.
Here it is. Shira, the young orphaned youth that you so graciously brought, currently just sitting at a nearby table eating a early breakfast meal, talking with the rather quiet, normally owner Sastrek, who seems much more energetic at the least before you guys arrive than he immediately kind of starts to sloop into his previous demeanor as things get straight to business. Can I assume you're here to speak with the... you know.
Indeed. Now one from the house special, please.
Coming up. He's gonna walk over to the keg and just kind of slam it a few times. Should be warned though, we're having a relocation of stock soon. You'll hear more about it later, I'm sure. And he'll just kind of say, head around back and go up the stairs.
Okay, I guess we'll do just that, unless there's any concerns.
Should be fine. Thanks, you too.
Right. It's not your normal path, but you do take the route he speaks of, and you see a bunch of barrels have been moved out of the way, revealing the consortium hideout, or at least the basement stairs leading down to it. As you head down, you enter in, and you see, at the moment, Brill the Moth and Dendarin, and what looks to be a small dwarf fellow, as well as the wolf who you had met prior. Pretty much all of the leaders. And Corsaloisia, who's on the case. Most of the ruidium and different books and things they've had strewn about seem to almost have been removed or moved about, as the room is practically empty. As all three of you walk in, the room's focus shifts from whatever quiet meeting they were had before to all of you. They don't even appear to be wearing their normal kind of red attire, besides the gull, of course, who is the dwarf. They simply seem to be in whatever casual or subtle attire they normally wear. Vril will speak up and say, "Welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you all again."
Likewise. No, don't pause this meeting on our behalf.
The gull will speak up and say, "Nonsense! We have you to thank for such a successful operation. If anything, this meeting is about you."
That's good. Where's the new digs?
Dendarin's going to speak up and say, "Information on our new hideout will be revealed in time, bits and pieces, once everything is established. But we have some meetings to take care of first. Don't worry.
I think we've got a lot to talk about.
As soon as we're moved in, you'll be informed, as we'll be ready to start your next mission sooner than later. But, alas," Vril will speak up and say, "successes aside, why have you come to us now? Any particular reason, or to simply speak on your success?" Can we assume you have new information to provide on our investigations?
Don't know about new information, but we have new questions. And we may or may not have an in with the Emperor, so want to make sure we got everything figured out before that happens.
The wolf's going to kind of say, "An in with the Emperor."
Yeah, we got a meeting with the big guy. Did a job for one of his guards.
"Oh, these were the cronies you spoke of, Dendarin." He'll kind of nod his head. She says, "What do you wish to achieve with such a meeting? You know our organization works in secrecy. I doubt the Imperials will give us any help."
It's your choice to work in secrecy, but really we just want to make sure we have everything settled with the vestige. Any additional aid we can get with it would be for the best, considering the circumstances.
That's understandable. Have any other organizations tried to get their grubby hands on it as of yet?
I mean, the Allegiance certainly wanted it, but they're not getting it.
We have reason to suspect the Cobalt Soul might be looking into your group.
They already did a little bit more than looking into it. They enabled an assassin to track us down. But I think we can handle whatever they bring against us. As it stands now, however, we do have our own business to take care of concerning this jewel, the vestige, and other matters. As Persephone said, we do have an in with the Emperor, and as far as I'm concerned, we still need all the help we can get for our future endeavors. And that begins with information, I suppose. we're still looking for a way to get into that dig site.
Ah, yes. It's been at the forefront of your minds, and for good reason. Though, I want to reiterate, what are your reasons for being so adamant? Do you have more than just suspicion or hypothesis to suggest that whatever lies down there will connect deeply to this artifact you possess?
Eridonis is going to to Fenzira at this point, and he's going to ask. I suppose it would be a little bit repetitive at this point to say it came to us in a vision, wouldn't it? But then again, many things along our adventures seem to be hinged on visions, and thus far they've served us well.
We have reason to believe that there may be some sort of sunken city underneath here. So, if their dig site is going deep enough, it might lead us to where we need to go.
Sorry, you mentioned visions?
He did. Eridonis
I
did.
mentioned it, but I was mentioning it only telepathically to Fenzira. Fenzira didn't mention visions.
Alright. She'll kind of say, well then, the gull's gonna kind of say, we are not so blind as to not accept the results of, well, any evidence at this point. But fret not. We have thought more on your escape, as the allegiance of all sight have been invested in this operation, keeping it secret, meaning there is definitely a heightened level of something down there that they don't want us to see. And I can only believe that it's closely tied to what we're looking into. Our plans are grandstanding, but we need to know more first. And Dendarin is going to speak and say, the gull speaks truth. We have been looking into this dig site for a while now, even before your show. But ever since your interest has spiked in it, we reinvested some of our older contacts. We believe it well enough now to make your group an offer. You've worked with us and have done very well. The moth is going to speak, Vril saying, and seeing as you have proven your loyalty time again, denying the allegiance and cobalt soul for better or for worse, as well as exceeding at every task you've been set to, we hope to let you in on a little more information about our operations. But first, we want to formalize our arrangement. You've met most of us. She motions to the rest of the group. But not all of us. We think it best that you meet with our last member, the Owl. Once you do, you will speak with her. You've been informed of some details regarding the conversation. And she will give you one last task. Should you succeed, we would like to speak with you again about deeper matters. We hope that you're invested in our organization's goals as much as we are.
Could you run me through those again?
Ah, perfect. I was going to say, we should reaffirm those goals. As of now, our small organization grows from an underground society to something more. Something that people around the city have begun to take seriously. The wolf is going to say, we have shown that our investigations have borne fruit. Ruidium is so much more than anyone initially expected, and we have been on top of it, so much so that it has given us a great lead over the other factions. However, once they saw our success, they deigned to piggyback off of it, and now have made their own leads. And it's time we pick at those threads and bring them into our own fold, so we can put a close to this investigation. The Guld's gonna say, all of these organizations working around one another, as good as it is, it's obvious there's not going to be peace between us. But we're going to get nowhere if we keep blocking each other out. We have contacts who have been keeping close eyes on the other factions. And we're ready to start gathering their pieces to our own puzzle. It will require sabotage, and most likely getting into all sorts of trouble. But we think you're the best people to do it.
So let me get this straight. You guys get your hands on a piece of this red rock, and then you do minimal study on it, attach it to a weapon, and then distribute it, and don't know what side effects it could have on people that are using it.
See a wash of almost confusion as the topic you bring up is rather unexpected, it seems, to the rest of the table, and almost a look of, like, upsetness from the wolf side. But she doesn't seem very chipper one way or another most of the time. Vril says, those are some accusatory assumptions.
Well, you can confirm or deny it for me right here. Did you distribute out any weapons that comprise of this new material?
Now, Dendarin will kind of nod. Of course we did, but you assume we did minimal research.
Well, what kind of research did you do then? Because it leaves a nasty marking on whoever uses it.
Of course. You think we do not understand this? We inform our buyers ahead of time of these side effects, and they take good note. But I ask you, do you have sudden moral concerns with how we conduct our business? As I assure you, we, at the very least to our clients, are honest.
What I
Just
care
seems rather
about,
subtle.
what I care about is that even with some form of a warning that somebody's life could get altered or ruined, let's say, in an extreme case, by whatever it is that this does to them.
Leaders all kind of look to themselves for a minute. I believe, Vril speaking. I believe we have no good way of showing you any hard facts or addressing your concerns at this very moment. If you would give us a moment, we would like to discuss and dismiss some of our members to their business, so that we can have a more private conversation about this matter in peace.
It's fine.
Very well. Just wait at the top of the stairs, and we'll send some people up in a minute.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Just you turn away. The table rather tense at the moment. The silence falls over the room.
up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you talk at all while you're waiting? Or do anything?
I'm a little hard on that, don't you think?
Sometimes people need to get a little bit shaken up to actually give information. Beating around the bush doesn't do any good.
They have been elusive on this, and I do agree with Fenzira. I don't fancy seeing that corruption possibly spreading. But I do wonder if perhaps if we solve this greater issue of Elixion, then it might be that we'll simply be able to get rid of this Ruidium issue entirely. Once more, it all comes back to that. It excites. And putting an end to the source for the Ruidium, rather than simply preventing its spread.
I just want to know for sure what it does, good or bad, to someone before even considering helping them get it in the hands of more people that could be affected by it, so...
Might as well be good to know. Something tells me we'll be seeing more of it the deeper we go and the closer we get to Elixion. And after seeing what it did to that Gloomstalker and the shark, any kind of leg up would be nice.
In a weird way, the way that I look at it is sort of like a... Obviously, they're not inherently the same, but it's like a drug where, sure, it probably is very cool in what it could do. I have no experience in it, obviously, but if it does something to their bodies, it is not good. I didn't get a chance to fully study his body, but we looked at how far it permeates into the entire being itself. So, because we cut open the Gloomstalker, but either way.
Aerodon's gonna think, oh, that pocket full of that fistful of suit he has somewhere in his pocket.
That I don't know you at. I don't know, just a nagging thought in the back of my head of an unsuspecting child picking it up and using it, and I don't know, I wouldn't feel good with myself if somebody innocent got harmed by it, so...
Alright. Unless there's anything else to remark on, I suppose we should get to meeting a certain owl.
Well, to be matter of fact, eventually figures will walk up the stairs. You'll see the gull and the wolf come up at separate intervals, as well as eventually Aloysia, but first the gull and the wolf. They walk up seeming rather stern and perhaps not exactly excited, and just kind of walk out without much of a word. Eventually you see Aloysia come up alone. She'll kind of say, you're welcome to go down. We should speak after you're done with your meeting on where the owl's nest presides. I'll be in the tavern. She kind of stares at your group a little awkwardly for a minute, almost trying to examine you to see if something's weird or different, before just shaking her head and walking off, almost confused.
Alrighty.
Come on.
I'll go.
You head down into the room. Dindarin and Vril preside, sitting at the table, beckoning you all take a seat.
Yep.
So, let's get this straight. We were under the assumption your group didn't exactly have any moral outstandings with business. If we're crazy to assume that, then we apologize. But we just feel this shift is rather unexpected. Phil says, not to discount your concerns. We will address those in time. But we just have our own.
I believe I was very forthcoming when I first came down into this room that there are some things that are unsafe for people. And if this is one of those things that will end up being inevitably unsafe for people, then I do have a moral standing on it.
I struggle to wonder. Never mind. The material itself has been tested. Vril's gonna say, I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, this is dangerous. It's wouldn't be our area of focus if it wasn't. But we understand the material better than anyone else in this city. We've had the longest with it and the brightest minds on it.
Right.
However, in our line of business, we're interested in information and learning more so that we can eventually use this information to perhaps inform the people of what's been hidden by the other groups. However, as we go about doing that, our concerns do not lie in what criminals we sell dangerous weapons to and how it will affect their lives.
I feel like it affects more than just their lives, though. Because inherently, let's say, whoever you sell it to loses, and whoever comes out the victor picks up the object not knowing whatever warning you gave to its original owner.
Do you believe a common man is going to pick up something like that and suddenly decide to use it without question?
Mortals are curious beings. And naive.
Yeah. It's a weapon, in the end of the day. It is used for purposes involving murder, lethality. If someone chooses to use a weapon, I doubt they're doing it for good. At least to the people that circle our rings. Our point stands. We are not the most thrilled that you assume we would not have a great understanding of what we're working with. But at the same time, we'll speak plainly to let you know that if we're going to be able to work together, we were under the assumption that some moral outstandings would take a bit of a back seat. You cannot get far into this type of research without taking risks. It's impossible. That's why the Allegiance has fumbled for years to understand things we discovered in weeks.
I feel like you could test this yourselves rather than distribute it out amongst the public.
And our point is that we have.
Well, some guy at the casino had one.
Some guy.
A worker.
And you assume exactly that's what?
What did your research conclude? Does this alter their behavior in any way? Do they become more aggressive? That's what I'm curious about mostly.
As far as emotions are concerned, at the moment, it works in spikes. Seems to depend on the moon. But for the longest time, there were no ill emotional effects for a large while. But I must admit that suddenly these things have become more of a concern. Though, that's not what matters. Nindaran's going to speak up and say, I'll put it blunt. The only reason we're able to succeed in the ways we have is by doing these illicit deals. We made that obvious when you first joined. You worked with us because of our underground connections. And we're not going to stop doing those just because we're concerned about a few low lives. Or a guy robbing a casino. Just seems like it gets in the way of what we're trying to do too much. We've come across a gold mine. Mine. And we're not just going to give this up all of a sudden.
I suppose I'm not really asking you to. It'd be rather bold of me to request you cease all of your curious findings.
We understand the kinds of dangers this stuff poses, but it's not our worry, if I'm being honest.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So, just besides all that, when you get to the end of the path you're on with Ruidium, what's your plan exactly?
The substance is a great mystery, as its origin seems to be shrouded completely in its creation. Whatever entity, be it the Apotheon or whatever you've spoken of, lies at the heart of this, we believe possesses some sort of control over this substance. Take this, for example. You'll watch her pull out a magical dagger, obviously engraved, doesn't seem to be anything specific, or built for any intent purpose, but perhaps like a +2 weapon. She lays it on the table. This weapon, though enchanted, is simple. Like a blank slate. If we add something like Ruidium to this, suddenly it's so much more. The downsides are obvious, but the benefit can't be ignored. If we can find what controls this substance and barter with it, why would we even need downsides? Take out the bad and keep the good.
With all due respect, that's not what I meant. Right now, you're supplying ruidium weaponry and such to, criminal organizations and whatnot, and largely everything you do is kept secret. What happens to you and your group when the Emperor finally decides to outlaw it?
Dendaran says, I can speak on this easily. The substance itself, we don't keep stockpiles of it just laying around, at least not the weapons. We handle that through suppliers. I've worked at this for years. It's so meticulous. It will never take the fall for this if it goes sour. And the people buying it, there will always be new people, but the ones who get caught, the ones who are fighting themselves in the street, they'll tire themselves out and deal with their own consequences. And it's not like they know our identities enough to sell us out. None savor you and the people at this table know that.
But what's the point? Isn't the whole thing you wanted to put the secrets back in the hands of the people? If everything's under the table and eventually gets outlawed, then what's the point?
Ruidium itself? If the downsides don't persist, then what makes it any different from any normal enchanted weapon?
It's a big if you've got there.
No doubt. But you don't see criminals running around arcanely enchanted elven glaives and getting arrested for using them, do you?
You're right, I see criminals running around with a mundane weapon that still got outlawed anyway.
Are you suggesting firearms are mundane?
For the most part, certainly not fucking magical.
Not magical, but far from mundane. Besides, firearms have a deep-rooted history in this city. The Emperor has a complicated relationship with them. Ruidium is new, and as far as the other organizations are concerned, they have the same beliefs that we do, that it can be harnessed or controlled in some way, for better or for worse. They won't shut down what we're doing until we're done. And by that point, who cares about one city? I think our ambition should aim a little higher.
You wish to spread the presence of this ruidium and the weapons everywhere, then?
More than that. Not just this resource. This is a start. This will unveil the types of things that the cities keep under closed eyes. It will inspire people to dig deeper, to understand more, and to root out things like this. For the better.
So what I'm hearing is that it's going to happen regardless of if we help you or not, so...
You can work against fate, but it seems like it always pulls back somehow. We don't ask you to do our dirty work if you don't want to. But whether you see it or not, we have a path ahead, and we're willing to share with you all in that path. And perhaps, even by joining us, you might have some level of control over how those sides of things get handled. Which I suppose is better than leaving it to people you apparently can't trust.
Well, as far as I saw it, me staying here as long as I have was somewhat vested in not returning contact to a certain someone that had contacted you on my behalf, so...
Sorry, you just... Well, with vagueness like that...
You got a letter from a certain someone about me, and I had been assured that as long as I, or at least my group and I, worked with you, that you wouldn't contact him back.
That wasn't meant to be a threat. It was an option. And we had no concern one way or another which way we went, until you convinced us that there might be another route we could take. Vril says, should you have not come along and at least informed us of this letter's dubious nature, how are we to assume anything but allies from it? You warned us, and we were thankful for that. At the very least. And we believe that your group has been, and will be, much more helpful than they were.
As long as you keep true to letting us at least try to make sure that you can weed out all of the negative side effects, then it should be fine. The negatives are really what I'm worried about here. I know a weapon is a weapon at the end of the day. It's going to hurt somebody regardless. I just rather not,
But Dendaran will say, what I don't understand is this. You joined our organization, no offense, for criminal contact. If you're concerned about criminals getting their hands on bad things and hurting people, why interact with them at all?
Okay.
Why not work to stop them?
Let me clear this up for you then. I was here because they were here, and she, points at Persephone, needed your help.
I see.
And I'm simply concerned about this because if these negative effects persist and these weapons end up turning up in the hands of more criminals, eventually someone's going to take notice. You are going about this in a criminal manner. And if you're going to go about it in a criminal manner, then go about it in a smart criminal manner. If we, as we were able to notice these effects, how much longer do you think it'll take for people like the Iron Hand and other guards to take notice of the strange crystals that have all of a sudden begun to crop up? And how much longer is it before they send in another bunch of people to kick in your door? We're all as good as you are at keeping hidden. Something tells me the reason you are operating in secrecy is because you precisely know you can't deal with any of these other factions out in the open. So for the time being, it is best you should research into this more and make sure that these negative effects don't draw any untoward attention. That, I suppose, is my concern. And as far as it ties to this whole deal with the crystals...
Vril will look to you and say, that's an attitude and a mentality we certainly are happy to endorse. Dendaran says, I've been whittling away at this operation for years, making contacts with the right people and making sure that our heads have stayed out of it. The city themselves and Ironhand, Sim, he already knows everything about this material's danger and the kind of threat it poses to the city. You've seen it in public being used before, yes? So you claim in the casino.
Erdos gonna nod.
He'll say, then it goes to say that he certainly has. The Archmage and the Emperor of this city are not fools. Their leadership has known about this material ever since it cropped up. But they haven't outlawed it or done anything about it yet. If you ask me, there's more to it than just protecting the city. They have an interest in this that they're not willing to crack down on yet. At least not in totalitarian sense. Things get outlawed all the time, but that does not disrupt the trade of them. Just because guns are illegal, you don't see that they are not still sold. If anything, they are more valuable, if slightly less accessible. We're a supplier, not the sellers. And the people we have delivering these supplies are normally shrouded in layers of secrecy. We use secret names and we shift our hideouts constantly to ensure that we never leave a breadcrumb trail for anyone to follow. And you are right. Why should we face any of these other factions in the open, when it's obvious they have so many more resources than us? It's better we focus on our strengths and try and utilize the benefits we can afford. Does that make any sense?
I suppose it is your heads at the end of the day. Well, I've said my piece. As far as I'm concerned, we are still in business. And I guess Erdon's gonna look to Penzara and Persephone. I, for one, am ready to continue with our dealings here.
Fem.
As long as, like I said before, the negative side effects are gone for whoever's using it, I will be fine.
We're working towards control, Grill will say. If
Then
our
we're
goals
fine.
are successful, then keep the meat, cut out the poison. But that is at the very least right now further away. Kind of lowers her head for a second. With a deep sigh. Let's get down to business then. You want to know more about the dig site. And I guarantee you will not be able to gather information working on your own. At least not in a short course. So we want to go ahead and...
There is one correction. We don't just know about the dig site. We need a way into it.
That comes with the process. But it's not as easy as walking straight in. We have kept stations on that for a while now. We have spies. You should not... Or you should at the very least have expected this. I hope. A few of them preside. We've had some dealing with the other organizations of the city. Our Cobalt Soul Spy, however, has recently been retired from his duties, as they have bolted down on their background checks after the incident with your bird friend. However, he has information on the dig sites, and at the very least, an idea of what we're aiming for. Him and the other spy keep in good contact with each other consistently. We are content with continuing our work together. But my recommendation is this. Today, while you still have daylight, you will go to the owl's nest. You will speak with her. She is going to present herself as insane. This much is very certain. She has been bitter towards our organization's workings for a long time now. But she is a senior member and has got us as far as we are, and has contributed and sacrificed the most for our goals. So we cannot ignore her for now.
Why is she better?
As I said, for a long time now, she's not agreed with our way of running business. I'm sure she will speak as much to all of you when you meet with her. But even more so onto this, in her age, she has grown rather delirious. Consider her no more than a mad scientist. She is a hazard to our group, and is kept at bay right now only by her content to keep silent. We believe in time that this will fall. When you speak with her, we want you to gather a gauge on how she's doing. Mental health, whatever. We need to know that she is still not a hazard to our workings. As I've said, there are few people who know the true identities of some of the people in here. She is one of them. She cannot be a threat. She'll send you on a task to retrieve an angelic weapon from the desert. We talked about this with you the first time we came in. Do you all remember?
Yes.
Perfect. Once you retrieve this, hopefully you'll have satisfied her needs. Then after that, we only need to gather the proper materials and prepare for the right time to enter into the dig site. Create a large enough distraction that the Allegiance of All Sight are able to shift their focus away from their operations, at least in a whole. Something that will give them a real shake. But that's a plan that lies in wait. And you'll be working alongside the person who has the ability to do that, should you accept this.
I'm just gonna look to the other two. I don't hear any objections from these two.
We
Not at
noticed
all.
that you are low on hand at the moment. And the kind of business that we look to get into, I do wish to assure you, is not going to be easy. I do not know what methods you've derived for potentially getting into the dig site, but we've investigated the entire city and thrown over the entire thing. Every waterway and undersea passage to try and find an alternative way down. There's none. That maw is it. And the only way in is going to be subtlety. And espionage. Our friend is not exactly a senior member, but he is capable. And tough. And, well, knows a great deal of espionage. You'll meet him on the way to the Owl's Roost. He'll find you. Is this amenable?
They're not just gonna nod. I suppose we could use tough.
Gotta meet the guy first, but
Once again, Nadarin will say, we apologize that there was clearly some level of miscommunication, mainly talking to Fenzira, when we first began working with one another. We hope that on both ends we can be more clear about our intentions, and we hope that you have at least an understanding of what we aim to do, enough to make a decision on your own. We aren't forcing you to work with us, But we ask that if you don't, you at least leave on terms that work for us, so that we don't have any troubles.
I think I've heard what I need to hear, so I'll be fine. If that changes, you'll be the first to know.
Very well. Fro will say, all that's left is this. Once you've spoken with the owl, we will give you an item. Something that can allow you to communicate with us better, so to say. A bit of a sign of our organization. It will mark you as members of us. Don't worry, it's no brand or magical tag. Think of it no more as a badge. And Darn says, but there is one thing, kind of almost remembering something, jogging his mind, that now becomes problematic. As I have said, Iridium is not illegal. The contact that we'll be sending you to speak with makes good use of this substance. You want to see how it works in action? Your chance is here. Take that as you will. He knows to be subtle, though, so I wouldn't worry about him getting your faces caught out.
All right.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
They say, you're dismissed. As you're ready to leave, throughout this conversation would have been the certain thoughts of Eridon and Finzyra.
What? The surface thoughts? Oh, fuck.
Mainly Finzyra, but, both say.
Damn.
Oh my god, nerd. I was
Yes.
also actually tech thoughts, so when I connected to Darren, we kiss again.
Yes, again.
Mental smooch. Sorry, too late, so slate, buddy. What are those surface thoughts?
Trying to think. I feel like they've been very forthright with what they were thinking.
I don't know if I should be happy or insulted that they didn't even check me.
I don't know, I feel like you've rode like pretty consistently since you've joined. They have a pretty good clue who you are.
I think for me it's mostly just as long as I can keep this from negatively impacting people, I can keep my conscience clean. That's about it, because I've said the rest of it aloud.
Anything special, Eridonis?
Like the Polish dancing cow?
Yeah.
No, I mean, Eridonis doesn't really... No particular thoughts stand out. I suppose he's pretty much completely on side with the consortium at this point. Doesn't really see much of an issue with going forward, though he is a little bit curious about this whole mad science they're talking about in terms of the owl. And he's like, so he is curious, almost to the point where I guess the others might be a little bit concerned he might go off script in terms of just interacting with her more. They'll get that much from him.
Alright. Then you're free to go.
Let's go.
Alright, let's go.
Alright. As you guys head out into the streets, you head back up to the tavern, rather. Not the streets. I guess you did head to the streets for a moment before you head to the tavern. You meet with Aloysia, who speaks with your... She'll kind of meet you outside where the air is kind of thin and no one seems to be nearby. She'll say, "Hello. Are you ready for your next task?"
I suppose, though I've been needing
Yeah.
to give you help and I keep being busy.
It's fine. I get it. Let's go. I'll lead you most of the way there, and then once you meet with your new friend, or ally in this case, he'll lead you the rest of the way.
Right.
She starts to walk. Is this a walk of silence, or is there any conversation shared during this walk?
I don't know. Is it Lucy want to spill about her boyfriend?
I guess, yeah.
Not particularly, but
Well, then there you go.
if there's enough silent air for enough, she'll say,
Well, how was your sex life in Ocean?
"Your life wasn't just that."
No. Oh my
She'll
god.
say, eventually, I'm surprised, by the way.
Hmm.
Just at your level of scrutiny all of a sudden. Not that I'm upset about it. Obviously, this doesn't go back to the leaders, but it probably doesn't mean anything. I do approve of your concerns.
That's good.
While the organization's goals are something I support, I do not necessarily take side to some of the stances that our leaders have been taking as of recent. Albeit they are capable. I believe that there is danger in what they do. It's good to know that at the very least you're equally minded. If you're at the forefront of all of this, I believe that you could make positive change. Something for the best.
Well, you've got more vetted experience with them. Who's to say you couldn't propose the same to them as I could?
I work in different circles than you. My jobs are usually much more on the subtle side. I do not take up such grandstanding tasks as you. Nor do I have the metaphorical keys to this entire equation. Like you have wrapped around your neck.
So you're saying my words hold more weight?
Not necessarily, but you certainly have the means to back. We should almost be there. Back to the Jewel of Hope map. To the Circlet Walk. Actually, no. North of the Sun Cut Bazaar. A new map!
Wow!
But first, a new man.
Ooh. Is she a handsome man?
Oh. Guffaw. You meet a new figure. Along the road eventually, walking out of a nearby shop vendor, I suppose, picking up a kebab of some variety.
Oh, hell yeah, he's already my kind of guy.
You see a bulky fellow with a sheathed weapon, giant great axe, uncommon around these parts. Eating away before Aloysia will wave at you, Valen. From afar, you spot Aloysia, a figure you recognize. You don't talk with her much, nor do you have many personal connections to her, but you at the very least know that she is an information broker for the consortium and almost a messenger, delivering sensitive information when need be. Her presence, though not as imposing as one of the leaders, is certainly important. It means that there's a job to do. And behind her, a group of strange fellows. I shall wave you over.
Who do we see walking towards us then?
Who do they see walking towards them then?
Fucking changed. This guy changed his profile pattern.
He did.
You sure did.
Is he dead?
I don't think Blood's here.
Story?
Oh no!
And that's the end of the session.
God darn it!
During time.
Wake him up!
Gosh dang it, man!
His microphone's lighting up.
Sorry, he can't hear you. We need you.
That's all, folks.
No, shut up. It's not over till I say it's over. I dismiss you. The bell doesn't. No.
Alright, how about you?
Yes, it works. It works.
Oh my god.
Did you hear all that?
Turns out it was the same microphone setting I had turned on earlier. I just had
Okay.
to leave and rejoin.
Did you at least hear us?
Yes.
Thank God. All right.
I had a whole monologue and I said it all. It was perfect.
Repeat it. Repeat it. You can do it.
Well, it's gonna be different now. It's
Where do we need
obviously,
to-
you know.
Yes.
Whatever.
Of course. Please. Please.
So they see this figure, basically exactly like you described. Take a bite out of this kebab, turn around and see this ragtag group of purple-wearing freaks. And as he approaches, you guys would all notice that, yeah, he's actually wearing red, like most consortium members. He's got a hood over his head and kind of a loose red shirt that the hood's connected to, kind of tight-fitting leather pants and boots that go like ankle height. It's got the great axe with a sort of a sheath of leather covering over it on his back. And then just various pouches and kind of adventurous implements around a belt tied to his waist. And I guess the notable physical features of this character is he's fairly tall. He's about 6'5", 6'6", somewhere around there. So he's towering over most of the party members.
Holy shit, he is.
Piercing
giant.
green eyes. That's the most distinct feature. You can see, like, even through the hood, like, his eyes almost glow.
Interesting. Not menacing at all. Surely this gentleman just blends in with the crowd. Subtle, they said. That's what I know. Aaron's thinking. Subtle, they said.
Reasonable. As long as he's just kind of.
He's just giving like he's giving insane side eye to the 6'6" behemoth of a man with an axe.
I'm just gonna cough a little bit. It's Verlin or Verilyn. How's your name pronounced?
Valen.
Valen. Okay, I spelled your token Verilyn for some. I think I missed.
But he also has a consortium code name, which I just made up on the spot.
All right,
It's Serpent.
Serpent. Got it. You approach and arrive, and Aloysia will say, "You should know to lead them the rest of the way." Yes.
I think I know what you're putting down. This is the group.
Yes. These will be your new compatriots for now. I recommend you get
to
know
the
each
other one.
No clue.
This looks really sad.
We are not sure about that, but I'm sure you have plenty of time to get to know each other after the meeting.
Cut him loose then. Perfect.
Either way, it's time to speak with the owl. You know what to expect and you know what to look out for.
Very well. We'll go find the owl and get this whole business sorted.
Straight to it. Like that.
Do any of you have access to transportation to the desert?
No, I don't think so.
I recommend looking for an airship before you leave. If you're able to find one.
Alright.
Can't fucking take it.
Can't fucking take it anymore.
Anyways. Loisy will say,
An airship, you say?
I have business to get back to.
Have
If you need anything else from me, you know where to find me.
I know exactly what kind of business you're talking about. How's he working out for you?
She just kind of puts her hand up and her head down for a moment before just saying, professional, remember?
Aerodon's gonna crack a smile. I think we're going to get along just
turns
fine.
around and walks away. Can't work
He
with
never
these
could
people
quite
these
match up
days.
to me, could he?
Yeah, okay.
Well, come
I
along,
think we're
you
going to
three.
get along just fine.
I like him.
Oh, hell yeah. And suddenly the day becomes a little bit brighter.
Oh fuck, I know what I do.
Right, shit,
Do you
okay.
want to close it off here?
Yes, sorry, I was looking for a Rizzler gif. Anyways, the Rizzler. Rizzly Twizzler. We're done with session.
Before
We're
anyone
done.
else makes it.
Another early cutoff at the 30-minute mark. Rise.
Fuck you what? We're fucking like 2 minutes off a session.
Aha,
We started
Jonathan.
late.
I
Oh,
desire
fuck.
the sweet release of death.
Well,
Haha,
fuck.
Jonathan, I can't take it anymore.